Hi guys, we're going live on Facebook with my video. I've trained thousands and thousands of dogs, and it's freezing cold out there, and it's raining, and we're going to try to get out there and do videos, but I don't know. Anyway, Quay's coming to help me today, and I'm going to try to get what I can done, but it's wet and cold, and they're all being really bad. I'm just going to tell you that right now. If I can even get through this video. All right, hang on. I'll go on Facebook. That's the cat. That's what the cat does in the middle of the night. Hi guys, we're back with I've trained thousands upon thousands of dogs. And I'm just going to tell you right now, that's not possible. Unless you're a vampire and you've lived for 600 years. You haven't trained thousands of dogs. And I mean, who even I've noticed that a few times in the past, but I just noticed it recently where this woman claimed to have trained 6,000 dogs. I'm going to tell you why people do that. To immediately make themselves the expert that nobody, unless someone had trained 7,000 dogs, they wouldn't know more than this person, you know. So then she put some post about a deaf dog. Well, you guys know me. Scrolling through Facebook. What's this? Oh, something about a deaf dog? So, of course, I go on there. It's this woman saying, a deaf dog cannot be a service dog under any circumstance. Period, no way, 5 different, just redundant, never, period, and not period, written out the word period. So I went on there and I said, it would depend on the disability of the person. I mean, it's not like they have these things off leash out in public, or even off leash that I, know of. And I mean, certainly, if you said shoe, couldn't become the first, So it goes on, and just let me give you the Cliff Notes version. It deteriorates. Oh, Mandy, Parker was just being so bad. Let's hope we can hold it together. I will tell you one thing I noticed about him, Mandy. He is a little more aggressive than your average puppy that age. He's just got more testosterone. He already cocks his leg and everything, and just tries to get these, dogs in death grips, humping on him and stuff. It's, and I've got those other two the same age. They don't do that. He is a little bit more aggressive that way. That'll get resolved when he gets in. Anyway, so this woman then now claims that this dog that could not be a service dog is a seeing eye dog. I said, that's a completely different thing. That's like saying a dentist and a doctor are the same thing. It's not the same thing. That's like saying they need to have completely different schools for dentists. Yeah, they do. And if you said, there's not specific, well-established seeing eye dog schools, I would say, yes, there are. And that I know of, they're not cranking out pit bulls. So and again, I'm still clueless, but it's going on, and then she then posts, if I had a deaf puppy, I would put it to sleep. No way, no how, no choice, period. It's called culling, and many can't handle that. I mean, can you even believe this woman? And I said, out of these 6,000 dogs that you trained, how many of them were deaf? What does that matter? Just trying to get a reference here. So in other words, none. All right, well then, let me tell you what happened, you guys. I then find out this woman apparently then runs to this chat board. And meanwhile, this conversation deteriorates to, I've seen your work. It's awful, and so are you. So after that, I blocked her. If my comments deteriorate to that, I don't go any farther. At least I have the ability to control myself there. But for somebody to say that, oh, I had said something about, because she goes, no way, a defective dog. And I say, do you say deaf children are defective too? She then informs me, which I mean, lucky because I didn't know this, that dogs actually aren't children. So anyway, so now I know this. And that's when she says, and if you honestly think you're going to take a beautiful, healthy, 8-week-old puppy into a veterinarian and say, I'm a cold-hearted bitch, I want it dead, and they're going to do it. I don't think they are. I don't think they are, lady. And out of 6,000 dogs, because if somebody said, well, I've trained 6,000 dogs, and, 1% of the population of dogs is deaf, which I don't even know if that is. JC, please look this up. It would only, in theory, seem that a percentage of these 6,000 dogs would be deaf. Because if you said the percentage of dogs you train, based on what you train, there's a lot of deaf dogs. I'd say that seems to be the case. So But then apparently this woman runs to this chat board and says, "Oh, I opened up a can of whoop ass on her." This is after me saying, "Show me your work. Show me your work." Just to be honest with you, when I see somebody that all their work is them driving in a car and there's no dog, it really doesn't interest me that much. They say the average person's attention span, I share, is only 8 seconds. So if it's just seconds and seconds, and then I saw one video where she was rubbing it and pointing, and I saw just that's all I need to say. So anyway, then I then find out that this woman is Larry Crown's friend. He's told her apparently to friend me, bait me, and open up this can of whoop ass on me, so that I will then finally know I don't know what I'm talking about. It's like, I honestly can't even believe this. First off, is this high school? I said, who are these people that they're going to say, I devoted my life to bettering dogs? And because stimulus method doesn't work on deaf dogs, we need to just eliminate those from the population. There's people that have nothing but deaf dogs, and it's not a handicap. It's not a handicap. I used to think blindness was a handicap. Crash changed all that. Crash changed all that for me, you know. But if you went to the deaf community and said, this woman is making a speech about deaf dogs, and her speech consisted of, uh, they need to be culled, period. Well, this woman didn't have a mob on her. Oh, I already posted it on Deaf Dogs Rocks. Let's hope they stick a cyber lynch mob on her. These people are very passionate. That's not a handicap. If you said, what authority are you? If these other people started now, they probably couldn't get more deaf training videos than I. They'll never get rid of me off the internet. Maybe that's what bothers these people. Anyway, so yeah, that's beyond. When I remember, because she friended me right when that whole Larry Crone thing was going on, but apparently that's his big good buddy, and said, I guess when they saw that I said, saying no skill doesn't, get my goat, that they figured out, say something about deaf dogs. She thinks she's an expert. That'll get her goat. And me, I'm just, what's this? Something about a deaf dog? You know, I mean, you're going to have to produce, lady, this pit bull seeing eye dog that under no circumstance can be, and then it was supposedly going to be trained for some. All I know is, where's the trainer that was training this dog? I think I'd be better off being friends with that person. Anytime a dog trainer says no if, ands, but, period, you better be talking about putting to sleep a dangerous dog. Because other than that, there are options. Other than that, there are options. There's no period other than, as a serious pro, I've determined this thing is scary dangerous and needs to be put to sleep, period. And I have said that before. And I can remember the times I've said it. I don't say it flippantly, you know. But I mean, they just had that thing where, this pit bull killed a kid with 3 adults right there. I mean, that's what's so scary. And this woman had put previously, the bully breeds are no different than anybody that's a serious pro trainer knows bully breeds are different. Anybody that says they're not, they're way different. They're predictably different. They act in a predictable way. They have a predictable mindset. If you think these people, when these people put these retro things, here's dogs back in the 20s, how sophisticated do you think these people were? They didn't have commercial dog food. We're not looking to the past for our future in dogs. We're understanding the past, but we're not looking there because we don't enjoy blood sport like they do. And don't kid yourself, they still do it in the second and third world. When people say, oh, dogfighting needs to be outlawed, you need to understand it's legal in the lion's share of the second world. I would say 99% of the third world. If you said, how is it not illegal? There's nobody to regulate it. Jesus, I mean, I lived in Arkansas. I mean, all these backwoodsy people had these fighting chickens. Nobody was stopping them. I'm sure they still do. I'm sure if you wanted to get dead real quick, you could rush into the hollers of Tennessee saying, I'm here to bust a bunch of cockfighting. Oh, you'd be dead quick. They'd shoot, shovel, and shut up. They'd never see you again. Anyway, I don't know how I got off on this tangent, you guys, but yeah, what I wanted to say, it's just, when somebody says I've trained thousands of dogs, they're saying that as a way just to dismiss any other person. They are the authority, period. And if you said, how many dogs have you trained? I'd say, I don't know. I really don't. Apparently, Larry Cohn was mocking me for my guesstimate of 350 client dogs just based on those cards, which that didn't count my personal dogs. So if we said, you know, if we said double that, and you trained 350 personal dogs that you trained and sold, because I used to train and sell a lot more dogs than I do now. Now I just keep keeping them forever. It's terrible. So if we said, well, that was another 350, so that's 700. It's not even 1,000. So by saying thousands, this person obviously knows way more than me. They've experienced more, they know more, and they're more of an authority. It's just not even possible. If you said, if I said Mike Lardy won the national 5 times, and how many dogs does he train? He's probably got 12 dogs on his truck. He's probably got 12 dogs on his truck. That's their limit. So he trains 12 dogs a year. And some of those dogs, it takes 6 or 7 years to win. This is what you guys have to remember about dogs. If you said, what's the most advanced dog training? It would vary from breed to breed. Obviously with, German Shepherds, the Bundesliga, and not the Seeger Shepherd, the working one. And, in Labradors, the National Open. And I'm sure Britain's got some, their National Open, and, other countries have, you know, whatever they're competing with on a national level. And if you said, well, how old are these dogs? The average age is 6 to 7 years old of these dogs. So these are people that are doing nothing but training these dogs, and it took them 6 or 7 years. It's not like, yeah. I'm going to grab one. I'm going to grab this puppy. I'm going to win the national with it. It just doesn't even work that. It takes such a long time to train a dog. Anybody that will tell you that. That's the other thing I wanted to talk about. And I started to say it, but I didn't want to be negative when that police dog first got killed. They killed this dog with friendly fire. They killed it with friendly fire. This is why this guy was hiding in the woods for hours. He was fucking terrified. He never fired his gun. He never fired his gun. They claimed we opened fire on this mofo for shooting and killing Raffles or whatever his name was. And everybody was in a rage. Kill this guy. We want him dead. He killed a canine. They killed it themselves. It's painful. It is painful. That's why you can't take dogs to gunfights. And when I see them training dogs to attack people with guns, I know that doesn't work because you're not going to have a bunch of cops standing there with a gun while any guy fires a gun that they're not going to open fire on this person. And unless you've got, a sharpshooter in the crowd, oh, there's many, many, many cases. It happens apparently all the time, you know. So it's very, very disappointing. It's very upsetting that they are claiming this guy opened fire when he didn't. Tell us, George. Anyway. Oh, well, yeah, Linda, no. That's why this woman posted this. She was trying to get my goat. She apparently has been trying to get my goat, and she must have seen the video about Crash. So her saying that these dogs needed to be culled was a total dig, saying Crash should be dead. I mean, I said, who are these people? If the reality was that they really were committing their life to the future of dog training and what dogs best understood, because me doing this stuff with the pager was the most confusing, abusive thing they'd ever seen. That's what I think about them. Apparently, Victoria Warfield chimed in. I'm going to tell you what, Victoria. I want you to stand in front of the mirror and I want you to take a good look at yourself. And you need to say to yourself, how can somebody who doesn't even take care of themselves any better than you do present any kind of work? And I'm going to tell you the difference between me and you, Victoria. There is not a single solitary serious pro on the planet that would say your work has any validity. Not one. Not a single one. Not a single one. Because one time Greg posted some of your god awful work on his page. So I showed it to the 5 most serious pros I know. I'm going to tell you right now, the best review I got was, okay. So, and if you said not a serious pro on the planet finds any validity to your work, I'd say that's not true. And that's why when my response to someone saying, I've trained thousands of dogs, your response to me needs to be, to what level? Not even to what level? What are you? It's a deadpan. To what level? I'm not even deadpan. Beyond deadpan. Confused. Anyway, that's what's going on. It's just honestly beyond me that they wouldn't say, and if you said the work that you're doing, nobody's taking it and getting any results with that, I'm going to say that's not true either, because they are. They are. That's why I didn't really, but I realized they baited me with the deaf dog thing because you guys know I'm not going to see anything about a deaf dog, and then to end it with, in her opinion, an expert who's trained thousands of dogs will do. I'll do anything in my power to make sure these dogs don't live. Aside that if one dog dies because of me saying this, the world's a better place. Because I truly believe it's not a handicap. You cannot sit around here and be conscious of the fact that they're deaf. If she sees a box out there by the gate, she runs a box. All of them follow her. They all believe her. They're not saying she's deaf. She didn't hear anything. But just to say that, because if a deaf dog should, be called, certainly a blind deaf one would, be gone in this woman's opinion. Oh, yeah. Her name's Carla Brewster. You should look her up. And her and this Victoria Warfel. I mean, I'm not even saying this to be cruel, but I mean, there is such a thing as just being ugly on the inside. And sitting there hitting dogs with constant, and then claiming you know, just that's your idea of fun to run to this chat board. I didn't believe it either. I didn't believe it either. But two different people told me. This woman ran to this chat board. Here's an idea, Carla. Get a can opener first. Because if you honestly think your work is going to open up a can of whoop ass on mine, it's not. It's not. And if you said run and go get your serious pros, I don't have to. You run and get serious pros. You run and go get serious pros that don't speak the language and say this here needs to be stopped and our work needs to flourish. It was awful. There's no good old days in the days of anything. You guys have to remember that everything is so fluid. Because people will come here, like if I trained their dogs 10 years ago and say, "Oh, you said this," that something stands out in their mind that I said that I don't even remember, but in their golden age memory, this is something I said, and I tell them it's everything is fluid, you know. If they came up with something, and I don't even know what else they could come up with other than a variable pager, and if you said there was applications, if you said, okay, this collar, and again, you got to think outside the box. There's no further application. Period. If you got a collar that you could maybe have 3 levels of pager at your fingertips, nick on the side, so there wasn't any confusion, and then possibly even I could see. I do think it would be, and this is for selfish reasons, a good idea to put a tone on every collar so that when I lose my collars, I can hit that tone and find it as a function of maybe locating the dog. Because if you said to me, what do you think is the training with the most nuances from your pointers? It's unreal complex, you guys. I had forgotten they have these pop-up bird dogs that are in a point. They're able to convince these young dogs and stuff. That one's pointing, I'll do it too. Just by a silhouette. It's a silhouette that lays on the ground, and then you got a remote control it. It pops up, and it looks like a pointer pointing. This is who we're dealing with here, you guys. We're not dealing with, Einstein. It's that's what just kills me. But the nuances they have, and I'm going to tell you why they have nuances with pointers and why so much work and why the pager was first developed for pointers and stuff. Those dogs are hyper aware. If you said they're not hyper aware, I'm like, oh God, yes they are. They're hardwired, you know, to see. You couldn't even stay still enough for one of them not to see you moving. If I said I got a pointer and you have to stand so still it can't see, you wouldn't be able to do it. You wouldn't be able to do it because they're so hardwired to see the slightest movement. And if you said, oh, what other breeds are like that? Border collie, and they're transferring their ability to see movement of other animals to people. That's why these dogs do so good. The ones that were successful were the ones that could see as many precursors back as possible. So they knew and they could preempt these things turning where they didn't want them to turn and these different things, and with these pointers, they figured out the ones that bum rush in there, uh, chase all the birds away before we can get up there with our guns and shoot them. And they're terrible dogs. They're not helping us at all. So they got, obviously through genetics, the ones that could do the mannequin challenge the best is basically what it is. And when, people say they're pointing, like they'll show their dog will have its leg, like Crash does it. You saw Crash doing it yesterday, bending her leg. The reality of it is when those dogs are pointing, they're pointing with every fiber of their being. They're actually flat. Their head is flat, their back is flat. That's what they're doing. If they had a finger, they'd be pointing that way. So it's more than just bending their leg, their whole body. I'm going to go find some videos on it, but it's very, very complex. And so anybody who uses electronic collars needs to look to this stuff. If you said you have to get a job doing that, I would be like, oh my God, I better get on YouTube. I wouldn't really know what to do because the nuances are unbelievable because you are dealing with a third party, these birds that'll take off in a minute. Anybody said birds don't take off, so they have to have dogs that'll wait. Oh no, the collars and everything they have for these dogs are unbelievable. They've got these beeper collars that will, like, you can tell from a distance whether the dog is moving or stopping. And then when the dog stops, you can push a button that screams like a hawk. Oh, hi, Mario. This is fascinating if you hunt birds. So now the dog is on point. They take the collar and make the collar scream like a hawk so that these birds lay down. They're laying down now. And I'm going to tell you who's helping them figure them out. The pointer is pointing right at them. So they're sneaking up there, so they're in gun range. They know what gun range is. They're shooting shotguns or whatever. I mean, they're not shooting rifles. These things aren't that big. It's a very, I don't know, it's a very American sport, but upland game, and that's why Briggy is so good. Uh, any upland game dogs are hardwired. If you said their mind has a little sound that that's how they're, yeah, absolutely. That's how they're seeing the world. And if you said other breeds aren't as tuned into that, they're not by virtue of the fact they weren't selectively bred for that. Some people need to understand. That's why bully breeds are the way they are. If you said, are bully breeds good bird dogs? If there's a lot, you can raise them. You could train any of them. If you see actual real pointers, I mean, it's highly selective breeding and highly combined with highly selective training. I don't think I'd be able to do it. It's so complicated. That's by the time I got up there and shot the gun. And they kill bird dogs. And I'm going to tell you why a lot of, they have bird dogs. If you said there's never been a bird dog killed by friendly fire, I'd say I don't think that's true either. I don't know if you saw that post, Mario, where they killed that police dog with friendly fire. It's terrible. It's terrible. And I guarantee if this guy had fired his gun, I'm not sure we would have even heard about this. Oh, you have to go back. You're just saying hi. All right, Mario, they've been bullying me, but I'm staying strong. I want you to know I'm staying strong. So don't worry, I'm fine for now. So that's what I want you guys to think of. But yeah, I just, to me, I don't understand. If you said deaf dogs are more able to see micro movements because they're not seeing through they're not having to look through a sound filter, I'd say that sounds about right. That does sound right because the way Shu watches me, if she's looking at me from across the room, which she does, I can make a certain expression to help her understand what, I'm thinking or whatever. I don't sit there and say, come here, no, nothing like that. I've got various looks, but I mean, I'll tell you what it is a lot of the time. I try to just, try to act like I'm shocked, so that she understands it's not, that's not good. It's not good. So anyway, you guys, hi, Sophia. This is going on. I don't even want any of you guys to say anything to these people. I just don't understand what they're getting out of it. That this woman would rush to a chat board saying she opened up a can of whoop ass on me. First off, get a can opener, lady. I'm not afraid of you. But this Larry would tell her to do that. I mean, why? They They do those videos on YouTube all the time. That's kind of how I got the idea. I'm such a copycat. Because like Kiko Pup doesn't like Zach George. I don't even think he knows or cares she exists. I need to go in there and see what she's doing. It's they're falling behind though, and that's what I want you guys to understand. If you said, what would your main thing be? It would be to give as many people this training at this point in time that 10 years from now they were able to take it, and now it's even if I was to get a time machine, and go 100 years in the future, and still they were still using constant, and the pager had died out, I would just say kill me now. Oh, I would. I'd say kill me now. I would hope, and it's not like I'm trying to sell these people a bum steer. I'm not even selling it to them. I think that's the problem. I need to charge, so they just devalue it. Maybe me just giving these people free advice bothers these people because they want them to buy all these DVDs and stuff or something. I don't know. Anyway, that's what happens. So if my conversation with anyone deteriorates to the point of I've seen your work, it's awful, and so are you, I don't even talk to him anymore. That's the end of it. So, all right, you guys, I don't know what's going on. I think George might be at my gate. I got to go out there because he's got to help me get these big crates in this dog room. So I will be back with some training. Hey, guys. Anyway, Carlos, so yeah, that to me is fucking ridiculous. Come on a chat board. Stop it.